We're good. We're good. The mic is plugged in now, and you should be able to hear me. I I tend to have audio issues with this computer, and it gets into uh, weird things. I'm gonna have to make sure to edit off the first chunk of this stream when we're done because there was some work stuff that should not be seen. Okay. Um, no, what, where is, I'm trying to find that thing, that control page. So we go to the go live and go to, okay, so I have the chat in here too, and I can do my polls and stuff. That's good. Oh, Magpie? Well, that's funny. Well, you can just tell them that you're doing research. So let's get on to what we're doing for today, which is, so we left off with phonotactics, right? And why do I not have my face? Um, yeah, just this one. This one's good. um, yeah, so we can. By the way, this document is now online on the Patreon. I think I set it as $5 or more. You can access this document and follow along with me. One thing I realized that I forgot to add. I did call the stream Tongues and Runes, so I guess we're going to have to at least consider making a script. I have not made a script in over a decade, so that might be that might be an interesting thing. I'm not sure. I misspelled cantrip. I'm not 100% sure that I will be great at it, but so we came up with this inventory, at least this for an initial inventory. We got the vowels. Now we want to think about consonant clusters. And I'm going to say before, yeah. Oh yeah. Um, yeah. I just have not gotten to making the scripts. It's just kind of I tinker with the languages for a long time and then never think about making a script. I guess I'm just more focused on the language itself. But I know that a lot of people like it, and so I believe that, and we don't have to stick with this in like the SRD. The Draconic is listed as having its own script. And then when you get to some of the others, like Sylvan does the Elven script and Primordial does the Dwarven script, I don't know if I'm going to do anything with that because, as I said, any notion of humanoid languages I'm just going to ignore because if I'm building a D&D world, I'm going to throw all that out because one language per race doesn't make sense to me as much as, yeah, you can have languages for different groups of like magical, mystical beings. But, so we've got these. This is our inventory we're working with, at least for a sort of proto-language. And it's probably not going to change too much because I don't want to apply a ton of sound changes. I kind of want to think of this as like maybe because dragons can live for thousands of years, then it hasn't changed a whole lot. So we just aren't going to worry too much about that. So we will go with this, and then we'll go to phonotactics. The phonotactics could change quite a bit because, if you start deleting things in codas and stuff, then you end up with something different. All right. So, phonotactics. I was thinking about it. One thing I want to consider is like, I'm not going to do sound changes that produce these palatalized consonants, right? But one restraint I want to put on is I want to simplify the clusters in a way that suggests that these palatalized consonants came from a cluster of this consonant and this, so that you will not end up with so we're not going to have no consonant glide clusters. That doesn't happen because they already became palatalized consonants. So that's one thing that I will do. We could have CR, and then we can think about additional restrictions for that. Since this is a trill, it might be a little difficult to pronounce some things, but it's not that big a deal. Fra, fra, sra, sra, sra. Maybe it becomes a tap, sra, 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 fra, fra. So I don't think we need a big restriction. I think we're not going this obviously. I think we're not going to have R and glide. I think we'll consider this separate. Like the glide only occurs on its own at the beginning of a syllable, and then we have both the both. Then we have other things. Now, do we want any kind of restrictions on where things can occur? So let's actually pull up. Let's look up the Enigma. And I want to... No, I just want to velar nasal. So the thing is, they can occur, there are languages where they occur at the beginning of a word, but it's pretty common for them to be restricted to the end of a word. So how about this be our first, we'll have this be our first poll here. Let's ask you guys should Oh, takes me forever to figure out how to type the Enigma on my IP keyboard. Let's just ask. It would be make it a little bit easier for a lot of people to pronounce, but at the same time, there are plenty of languages where it can be at the beginning, so it's hard to, it's hard to say which way you want to do it. And I will. Okay, we've got 8 people watching. We've got more people voted than are watching. So I'm going to end it right here. And we are not restricting it. Okay. All right. So Enigma can occur in syllable onset. That is what that means. Okay, so we will go ahead and I'll just note that. Now, do we want to do more restrictions with nasals? So let's just also say we have structure of C. All of the palatalized consonants, they can only just occur before a vowel. And then clusters of palatalized and non-palatalized consonants assimilate. Yeah, maybe that's something we can work on. I suppose we can have, if we have any CC clusters, then we can have C palatalized clusters, right? But I want to think about, before I commit to that, I want to think about what kinds of consonant clusters we're allowing, because that can be kind of restricted. I think I'm actually going to say right here that nasals can't be followed by another consonant. So we have nasal and then vowel. And yeah. $28 PCs, Bibleridian? I don't know how that can work. That's a little bit crazy. Okay. I do have to so this is a look at onsets. So I want to think about, so are we going to put any restrictions on what obstruents can go together, or obstruent plus nasal? So like we can make it so that you can only have fricative plus stop, or stop plus fricative, or you can go more granular and do, the Englishy thing of you have S can be followed by these, but the others can't for some reason. Um, I think I'm going to put it so any of the obstruent consonants can be followed by the R. So we got pra, tra, kra, other than glottal stop. Glottal stop is its own weird thing. So we and I don't want to make adjectives in this language, so I'm not gonna be doing stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so pra tra kra fra sra sra, and then let's say we can have only homorganic. So let's say so we can have no. No, let's actually do it this way. We can have nasals before a consonant. Is that too weird? No, let's not. We'll just do consonant. Even just what I was thinking was interesting enough. So we can put an obstruent before a nasal, but it has to be homorganic. So you can have pma, pma, but not pna. You can have tna, but not tma. Tma, 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 tma. Is that good? Is that easy enough to pronounce? Or is it actually mpa, mpa, mpa? I think it actually is a little easier if I put the nasal before. And then we could have some fun with some effects of prenasalization. Or we could fix that later with epenthetic if people feel that it's a little bit too hard to pronounce, or we could do whatever. So, mpa, nta, nka are all possible. They're not prenasalized. They are clusters. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It's just I am a little bit skittish of going too like far outside the norm on things because I want people to be able to pronounce things at the table. And then we can sort of figure out ways that it works out. I know that. Okay. So we've got onsets. Let's think about codas. Codas I'm going to ban going from my earlier idea of where these came from. The palatalized consonants came from. I'm going to ban them from the codas. So we're only working with these. P, t, k, and then f, s, h. So immediately my mind goes to, okay, we can have a homorganic, we can have the same, and this is just me sorting out. So we can have the same constant n with the idea that it has to be homorganic, right? Then we can aft, aft, ast, acht, acht, acht. Yeah, we can do like a fricative, fricative and p, fricative and stop. And then also just any consonant. So we've got our idea of onsets and codas. And multiple parties within one campaign. So Danielle, there's a term that I don't know if this is exactly what Biblioreadian did, but there is a term called a West Marches campaign where you have multiple parties and like you have a set of quests that anybody can go in and advance, that are just within this general area that you've constructed, and then whoever shows up to a session that night can be a part of the party to go, right? Okay. So now we have now we have this. We need to move on to transfer this into, I use Lexifer, and I just saw this online version of Lexifer, which makes it much easier to use. I don't need to make sure I have Python running and everything and do command line stuff, so I can just do it from here. And so the things you need to I think standard assimilations, I'm going to not do coronal metathesis because it might be more fun without it. But the standard assimilations, I think that includes nasal assimilation, so that'll be great. So we've got all our sounds, and we've got to plug that in here. And the thing about using Lexifer, as opposed to awkwords. Awkwords has you add a coefficient, like a multiplier, for frequency. In Lexifer, what you do is you put in your IPA and you put them in the order that they go in. So we will start. Yeah, it's not a sound change applier. It just does generating words. I'm not, so this is a difference in my process versus what you all might be familiar with David with Langtime Studio. Is I don't necessarily uh, yeah, I don't necessarily go and make up words out of my own head and try to keep the phonotactics clear in my head and do that. I use a random generator, which I used Lexifer, which was made by William Annis, and that is sort of what I do here. So, can I edit this live? I can. Okay, so let me go ahead and Is it easier to code constraints than in awkwards? Well, we're about to find out. I'm not sure. So here's the thing. So we need to put them in order of frequency within the language. And I don't know a clear source of how to determine the frequency of IPA. I know that so T and K are super common cross-linguistically. Since we have a glottal stop, the glottal stop is probably going to be pretty common. Other than that, well, P is going to be super common. And then I would say probably let's actually say that we'll put the glottal stop at the further on, and we'll I would say like probably we would go with the aspirated versions next. And then, yeah, put glottal stop there. Now, our R is a trill, but it's probably going to be reasonably common. And then let's do our fricatives now, and then go through all of the palatalized variants. And oh, we forgot nasals. Nasals are going to be super common. Let's put the nasals and angma. Put angma a little bit further because I'm having angma. A Duolingo style matching quiz. Oh, okay. That's cool. So Jonathan, actually, my typical process is to make a list of 3,000 roots and just pick from that. But for the purposes of this stream, I'm going to do it differently. I'm just going to do it like 5 at a time, and you know, then I can run a poll and pick, or I can pick just by myself. Probably not going to roll for them because that's too much. There will be more rolling dice, I promise, but not in that way. So we have that. Okay, let's copy this and copy all of these and give the and give the palatalized version, huh? So yes, it is like rolling extremely complex dice. But I don't know, it's a little different than the way you would so like, I mean, there's a degree of complexity involved. And okay, yeah, see you, Magpie. Happy conlaying. See, I can say happy conlaying. And so we got. So what categories do we need? So we've got that. Anybody have any ideas about should I change these? Because this is in order of frequency, and I'm not 100% sure if this is a good order for the frequency. This just means that all of our palatalized constants are going to be super rare, which is not terrible. Oh, I forgot to add. I'm going to put the one glide here. Okay. So, okay, so I need to have a category for obstruent, a category for glide. Oh, I forgot all my vowels. I need to put my vowels in there. That's dumb. Okay, I'm just gonna, because vowels are never going to be in the same place as consonants, I'm not super concerned about their order relative to consonants. But I do want their order to be like meaningful. And so we're probably going to we're going to change this up. This is I'm just getting it started here. We're actually going to put ah first. And then put way over here. And then we have, well, we do need to put these as reasonably common because they are, even though they would be not super common in human languages, for the dragons, these are cardinal vowels because they don't have rounded vowels. And then, yeah, I'm going to make the centrals less common. No, Control Z. I don't think so, actually, because central vowels are going to be, the cardinal vowels will be more common, but like when you have a schwa, it appears everywhere. So I'm just doing this on vibes. I really should, if anybody ever finds a good cross-linguistic source on phoneme frequency, let me know. But for now, this is what I've got. So we're going to have obstruents and glides and nasals, and we'll have the one R. Okay, so, and let me, I'm just going to make sure that I'm getting the format right. Yeah, so this was an old one. File. Let's open. I want to see. What's that? Okay. Okay. So I guess you can define different syllable types, but you gotta bake everything into one syllable type. So that's fine. We can work with that. Um, yeah. So how am I going to deal with? I think I'm just gonna say glottal stop can occur on its own, and that'll be its own category. Call it S. Yeah. So we're gonna have obstruents. And we have one glide. We've got the three nasals. And ing. Oh, that would be funny if ingma just patterned like a J. And then we have our stops. And we have our fricatives. And glottal stop can be like this. So, okay, so I can do different. Yeah, we're not doing these. We're not going to do any extra filter stuff. But so we can do different word shapes, and that's where I can probably do my different syllable shapes properly. So okay, so let's focus on first why did I say VCN? Yeah, I meant to be VNC, right? So that's so we're going to have so for codas, and I forgot we need to have the gonna equals boom 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 boom. This, any of these, and these only occur alone. So we're going to have, I guess I need to, I'm just going to check the documentation really quick to see, is there a way to, yeah. Yeah, so we do our phoneme classes, and then yeah. Okay, I'm not going to do that random rate. Okay. So you have macros. Oh, okay. So there's a system in place to do word shapes, and then you have to have special macros that then you can use special macros to define the syllable. So I think actually that I can I can just go quickly. So we can have, we'll just do our, so we'll have a J, V, and then okay. So I don't think we need to deal with obstruent as a class, actually. I don't think we need to worry about that. Yeah. So we just have J, V, and then F question mark, P question mark, P, V. Oh, yeah. And this will give us just single consonants on its own. Oh, let's make this into the words. No, I want to make syllables. Yeah, let's make these macros, these different macros. No, I know what I want to do. I'm going to try to capture my different onset possibilities, and then we're going to deal with that as. So we have like the onset and the vowel. So we can have a J, V, right. So what's the maximum onset that we can have here? So we have this possibility that we were thinking about, huh? So we could have this N there. And then okay. Let's do where am I getting this? So we've got let's do Yeah, so here's our codas. So that'll get us the different codas. And then we are going to get whatever O. Trying to condense this for programming. So we can have that's fine. We can have R here. NORV. Yeah. And then we can have and then we'll just have the palatal. I'm gonna actually say that palatals only ever occur on their own. And then JV. And actually, since this is going to be like this, we'll just make this like that. And then okay, we can have an onset. And then yeah. I'm realizing, okay, I can't ever have a final trill. Do I need to be able to have a final trill? How about we just not? Just randomly, it just happens that we don't get final trills. Or final, well, we get final ends. It can be an interesting quirk. So, possible words, we're just going to talk about O, K, O, C, and then same thing with J. Probably should have some words that are multiple syllables. How about this? We can have any vowel occur afterward. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a paragraph and see what this looks like. Y, O, oh, I never defined my vowels. Okay, so we just fix that. And try that again. Oh, no. Oh, no, that's not working. That's weird. You can't have a vowel come after an optional consonant. Okay. Why do we get two vowels in a row? We're still getting two vowels in a row because I have these optional consonants. So actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in and make one of these. Make one of these obligatorily appear for the codas. And then we can have the V. I mean, I could make that into like long vowels or something, but I just didn't want to deal with that. Okay, I'm still getting this. Okay, this is these. I know what the problem is. Yeah. Tata it. Tata it. Pisk. Tiat. Okay. Let's think about dragons saying these words. Tata, tata, it, pisk, diat, pink, tick, papi, pape, kit, cut, gut, diat, ik. Okay. So this is interesting, but I'm not sure I like making this all kind of mostly monosyllabic. I don't think I necessarily like making everything sort of always, it's making things end in a consonant too much. So actually, I think I will reverse that. And we do actually have, so what one thing we can do is we can have this, and what I can do is I can have a separate, this is a basic syllable that is just, will have any consonant. And that actually these will be roots. Yeah. This will be for roots. So we'll also have basic CV syllables that we can have, and that is going to be at the front. So it's like sesquisyllabic. And let's see what that looks like. Fip, he, fip, P. Okay, we still get some vowels coming together because of some place where there's optional. I'm trying to see. Oh, we're getting this. Why are we getting this? I don't know how that happens. Half. Half. Breathiness. Lots of breathiness. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, yeah. Titjev. 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 Yeah. Titjev. Titjefa. Su. Suta ai. Ai. Tu tie. Titjefa. Ata. I didn't what? Yeah, so the issue I'm having is I don't know why it is. Do I have the syntax wrong? Okay. So you're supposed to put that after the optional element. So I'm trying to figure out why I am getting must be something in the some of these definitions. Because I shouldn't. I shouldn't get this, for example. So I don't know why that happens. I'm trying to figure out. Is it because, oh, okay. Let me actually do this differently. Because I think the macros are actually work differently than what I was expecting. Okay, and I had this. Okay. So I think actually what happens is it's interacting with the macro in a weird way. I realize it must be invigorating to see me debug somebody else's script. So okay. Ek itru itru. Okay. Eku itru itie aka tra e heku itru itia e o aka obab tra e. Does that sound like something a dragon can say? I think we're doing good. I think we got something here. Am I still streaming? Yeah. Guys, can you hear me? So we've got, yeah. Oh, people letting me cook. That's wonderful. This is what a strong. I worry about that because small stream. I guess sometimes people go a little bit silent. All right. Okay. So we've got that. We've got this, and I think I can. I don't know. Is there a way to save this, or do I just have to save this on my own? I think I will just paste this into Notepad++ and file, save this as draconic.def, and that way I can go back and I can copy paste this and generate more words whenever I want. So now we can generate words. Now we can generate. So this is going to be roots. Any sort of morphology that goes on top of that is is going to be. Do we need to do we want to actually make the word for dragon right now? I mean, we could definitely do that. Do we want the word for, before we think about that, should dragon just be an unanalyzed root, or should it be should it be like a derived form of some kind? Because if it's derived, then we need to figure out morphology first. And you might think, why would it be derived? But human, if you go back far enough, is derived. It's like earth being or something. Person, I think, is derived from something else. Man probably meant something like human a long, long time ago. But yeah, so it's a question. I think we can go with a basic root for dragon, and we can do. Here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to generate 5 words. So we can make sure we keep the chat on the screen. I'm going to generate 5 words. Let's go ahead and make our word for dragon, and then maybe we can soon enough start getting our actual native term for the language too. So term for dragon. Let's generate 5 words. I don't like those words. So we got B, G, Anye, Ipe, I. Oh, yeah. Person is for persona. Persona, mask. Okay. Yeah, so sometimes those things can be derived. These are better. Okay, so we got kat, kea, afe, ika, uki, uki. It could be suppleted later. I kind of want some nice consonant clusters. I'm gonna try generating one more time here. Okay. These are nice and more complex. I want to get something a little bit more complex. So some of them not so complex. Some of them more complex. So we'll let people choose. So we have kya, ga. That would be nice, even though it's a simple root. We have piepa, 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 piepa. Ite, ukef, 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 and ipi, ipi, and these will probably this will probably all change with sound changes. Uh, Dragon cat. Yeah. So let's take these 5, and I will let you guys make a decision here. So let me go. I will go and I will set up the thing. So we've got our handy dandy poll thing. Sound these out to yourselves. Maybe do a little dragon voice.
Do a little bit of false vocal folds for the dragons. It's very great for beast voices.
Or sound like a person, because also this is a spellcasting language that all the humanoids do. You can try to sound like a gnome. Whatever you want to. I can only have 4 options. Can I only have 4 options in a poll? I did not know that. Okay, so let's I'm gonna keep Pierre. I think Ite is probably the odd one out on these. The other ones all have at least sort of all of the other ones show off some unique features in the language. So I think that I will take Ite off. Okay, so now I know I can only generate 4 of these at a time for options if we're choosing words together. Yeah. And so, yeah. Okay, so what is the word for
Dragon.
And this will be subject to me checking and make sure it's not some obscure slur somewhere. But that'll be just quick. Okay, poll is up. Everybody vote. Okay, we've got. Oh, it's between 2 of them. Okay, so we have 11 viewers and 10 votes, but I think I'm gonna wait for just a second here because there's it's pretty close. Okay. I'm going to count down, okay? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You get that vote in. 11th voter. Okay, it's ending. Okay, so, yeah. One. I was actually liking Piepa. Piepa. Maybe that's something that we can save and use for something else later. But we've got, yeah. The countdown doesn't work. I don't know how else to cut off a poll. Yeah. Oh, did the poll close before people were? Okay. It probably depends on where you are too. So the word for dragon. So, yeah. Uh, mm. And this is the initial form. Okay. And I'm going to go grab those other forms to save them. And we're going to work on those, work with those to, I think I really need to grab, to generate a bunch more forms to test with. So I'm just going to generate like 100. And then we can and then let's, that's this, okay. So, and then let's look at kya. Just Google search. Oh, with something this short, it's gonna be okay. There's a girl's name kya. There's a character from Avatar kya, and then if we spell it as gya, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of giga years. Um, Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything super problematic from yeah. Self, dragon, the folk, hatchling. Yeah, some of them might be reused for other words relating to dragons, or I might just keep them as test words just to get sound changes worked out, which is really probably going to be our next step. Um, so we have that's an interesting idea. I was thinking about Piepa being like something relating to language, so that might be something that I do. Um, I'm not gonna have like the peanut gallery choose all the words for me. Yeah, yeah, it's always gonna be a work in progress. But for now, since you guys chose it, Gya means dragon.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime at some point they add a suffix on it or an affix of some kind on it, and then it becomes something else. And now we're going to go here, and I've generated 100 words, and that's going to be used once we have uh, once we have them to these. I'm just going to use these to test out sound changes. So we don't, with this series, I'm not necessarily going to go as deep into historical stuff as I usually would. Some of the entities that we would make languages for down the line, stuff like celestial and infernal and abyssal, these are for beings that are immortal. So, um, so you would not necessarily want to um, consider that as it's not necessary that their language would change, but for dragons, they are they live for thousands of years, but they are mortal beings. I think it's reasonable for them to have a few changes, but like my rule of thumb is like 500 to 1,000 years before anything you're going to use. Well, dragons are just dragons just live for thousands of years, so that doesn't make any sense. But we can add a few sound changes from this sort of proto-draconic to make it um, in order to. I just randomly have anti. um, yeah, just add some in order to make this make some sense. Yeah. Immortals would have super fossilized loan words. Yeah. I don't know how I will handle stuff like celestial and stuff because it feels like for one thing like how should we conceive of them? Like I mean D and this is we're talking about D&D here. Everything that speaks any of these languages natively is like a physical being that you can meet and talk to. But at the same time, like, do celestials and demons and devils have some sort of spiritual form that can communicate purely by telepathy, and then they only have language in order to interact with humanoids? Is that the thing? That's sort of the weird question that comes to my mind. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could make the proto-lang from further, much longer ago. I don't know, like, I don't know if I want to have the timeline be super stretched out though, because like this particular language is going to be like a version of the language that is hyper conserved and used for spellcasting. There may be dragons who speak like a modern draconic that is not at all like this, that is a descendant of this. And definitely I would say if I put this into a world and I have stuff like kobolds and lizard folk and things like and those that like in the game materials they often speak draconic, then I would like also derive that from this to make it a branch off of the draconic family rather than like randomly have every reptilian thing just speak one language. But here we have this list of words that we have, and we're going to think about just a few sound changes. Uh, I think maybe no more than five is what I'm going to say, and I'm going to say my typical method lately has been if you've seen Joey Windsor's talks at LCC about using the Drasharian branching trees with features. I do that combined with a feature geometry theory I learned in grad school and build those trees, and it has the effect of like with those two together, there's also a way to end up with one phoneme that's totally unspecified, doesn't have anything attached to it, no features attached to it. It it makes for interesting things. Everything's very underspecified, but that's very technical, and it takes a lot of time. See you, Jonathan. And I would say probably it's not necessarily the best move here because I want to be accessible here. And also, I don't really have that many sound changes to do. It's really a thing that gives me ideas for sound changes, and I already have ideas. One thing I'm thinking about is what to do about all of these palatalized consonants. Yeah. Because they're cool, but at the same time, they can break in really fun ways. And like one thing I was thinking about is I want to ask about, so it's really easy for a palatalized consonant to become some kind of, I have post-alveolar here, but some kind of a palatal itself, right? And one thing I was thinking about is, do I want to have the coronals? We could have all of these dentals become palatal or post-alveolar. We could have the velars become palatal and post-alveolar, and then we'd have a gap here because this wouldn't happen. Or we could do both, which is in Mandarin Chinese that happened. Is you had it's different because it was not a T, it was an affricate tse, right? They have tse and then z. These were palatalized to cha, ja, ja, cha, sha, but also g, h, g, k, h became palatalized to cha, ja, cha, cha, sha. And it makes like a really, it makes it really interesting to do the analysis. If you read people working on the phonology of Chinese, everybody has a different idea of what the actual phoneme inventory is for these, because these two palatalizations happened. So the two merged, but the resulting because of the conditions of the palatalization, the resulting xia, they're in complementary distribution with s and g, k, h. So, like, where do you put them? And like Duan Wu actually like says they're an allophone. It's an allophone of both of them, which was weird. No, happy Friday the 13th, Danielle. Yeah. Suitably serpentile, cunning, and draconiform. I hope so too. So let's consider this as our first sound change, and I'm going to put it to a vote. I'm going to say, so let me sort that out. Let me sort out how this works. Oh, spirantization, huh? Okay, so let's all of you guys who have stayed late. So we're going to here's how I'm going to sort this out. Is I'm going to give you guys two options. I'm going to say whether the coronals or velars or both are going to become something. So let's start a poll. And this, they would become is that Enya? Yeah, that's it. And then we're going to do the same with the no, so it would be okay. What happens to the palatalized coronals slash velars? Okay. Oh, yeah, Korean is interesting. Um, the so as far as I understand, like tense like um is like glottalized, right? And that happens in like codas and geminates. And there's some interesting like theoretical stuff about the features behind that. Anyway, we've got our poll up. Are we gonna turn the coronals into palatal or post-alveolar consonants, the velars, or are we gonna do both of them? Okay. And we got 8 people watching, only 5 votes. Give you an extra minute. We got 2 more votes out, but those 2 votes can do a lot. Yeah, so glottalization. Wow, we've got 10 people now. Somebody logged on. You gonna vote? 3 votes out then. And then we are going to be going here. Give it a little extra time. A lot of people do use laudalize to mean adjective, but that's okay. Okay, so we've got 1 vote out. I don't think it's going to make a difference. So I think I'm going to close the poll now. And so, yeah. You guys were really particular about you just wanted the coronals to change. And that works. So I'm going to use the the convention that David and Jesse use and do like a color thing. Well, I'll do this also means that the distribution of these is going to be interesting. Equals. I want the T to stay there. And this will be a sh. So we got sh instead of sia. We still have a kya and a kya and a kya. And I guess that means that we keep our word for dragon as gya. But we also have j, ch, and sh. And this is, I'll just color this. Color this blue to say that we've gained it. And color these as red to say that we've lost them. I need a brighter red than that. Okay. Okay, so sound changes. Palatalized coronals became palatal, whatever. And that just happened everywhere. So So that can be represented as coronal. This is in terms that I use, but that's we don't have to worry about that. Became whatever. Yeah, whatever. However you want to figure that out, and then okay, so Lexergy. If we do that, so if we get our words, oh, that's nice. It just sort of populated it there. And then I need to figure out how do I write the rule. So sound classes. Yeah. Let's just do it quick and dirty because we're not doing too many. Okay. I can clean this up later. Yeah. I will fix this later. And how do I okay, that's not how it is. Well, actually, we'll just do it the right way. And it's going to be might be faster. Yeah, so how do I do that? I just do, okay, I can just do it quick and dirty with the curly brackets. Okay. And can I just do that by like copy pasting? Okay, so, well, I just didn't. So is it going to match one for one? Yeah. Why is it like that? Why am I not getting the other curly bracket? I must have programmed my keyboard a little bit weird. Oh, it's because I'm in this. And what's the symbol? It's like that. I usually use a different sound change applier, but I'm trying this out. Okay, so this equal sign, and then we do curly brackets, and I need to turn on. Okay. Okay. And okay. Okay. And how do I apply it? So I just go, oh, I can stop before different rules. I can do that. Okay. Oh, okay. I need to, okay. I don't know what to call this. You palatalizing a palatalized thing. I don't know. It's weird. Okay. Okay. Rule. How's the syntax work actually? Okay. There we go. Okay. So it doesn't change everything, but we get, let's see, it's not working right. Yeah, it's not applying correctly. Okay. I don't need to worry. I'm not going to worry too much about. I'm not going to worry too much about this. I will get this debugged and figured out later. Do Do you need a slash? If it just happens everywhere, do you still need a slash or something? I don't know why it's not working. Um, yeah. That's weird. Okay. Well, we can work on that. Need commas? Oh, I need commas. Okay. Now I can get it to apply correctly, huh? Yeah. Okay, there we go. So, it, ichi, itu, ichu. Okay. Oh, okay. It was looking for the. Okay. Okay, now I know a little bit better about how to do sound changes in Lexergy. And I usually use phonics, which but for now we can work in Lexergy since that's familiar and it's online, so it's easy to do things, and I can go and save things. And so the next thing that I want to think about is David had a suggestion of doing vowel harmony with these. And so I have generated my roots without regard to any vowel harmony. I mean, I don't know if I could have done vowel harmony. But if we do like an ATR harmony, then we're going to have to consider some things about, okay, is is the tense stronger or the lax stronger? I think I'd probably go with tense stronger. We want to think about like in what direction does it apply, and in what like for like when we add affixes, um, and that kind of thing. In whether we want to have the ah be neutral or have the ah have some specific quality. Um, Another thing that I would want to think about is we have right now our R is a trill, but we have it participating in compounds. So we have pre. Do we want to make it become a tap in clusters? So like pre. Um, that one I think we could go into some into like on its own. I think I want to actually sit down and think about, we've got, I've got 10 minutes here, but I want to sit down and think about options for my vowel harmony. And maybe I will put that up as a patron poll. So if you go to patreon.com/conlangery, you have on there, if you pledge, you will have this document, which should continue updating. I just shared it through OneDrive, and and I will probably have a patron poll sometime this weekend go up to figure out different options for my vowel harmony. Because like I need to even decide how the central vowels count. Like David's idea was it's ATR harmony, and the central vowels count as lax. That makes sense to me. At the same time, I might eventually want to get rid of this high central vowel. Schwa can stay, but high central vowel, I have a hard time differentiating that from this. Like it's all three of these. We have I, we have I, and we have That's a lot to to distinguish in that high range where I'm not used to it. And also, I mean, we could maybe lose the schwa too, because and are a little bit hard for me. So the thing is, maybe I can have that as an option too. But I think about ways that vowel harmony could work and ways that we could lose the central vowels and possibly have that happen like in sequence in such a way that they end up like causing weird things to happen to the vowels of words. But we're that's where I'm thinking. So if you're a patron, pay attention to the Patreon, and there should be a poll go up about that. And then I think, well, let's see, we've got, and then I think that's about it for now. I don't really want to jump in and start a new poll for the tap. I think I might just fiat that in. Well, I'm gonna think about it and see if I want to do anything different to repair that. But for now, I'm thinking maybe the trill will just become a tap in clusters. But anyway, it's been fun. We have a word for dragon. Dragon is ga. And once we have a little bit of morphology, maybe a word for language, something like that, then we may come up with a name for this language. And we will stop calling it Draconic and call it by its real name. But for now, I'm going to say thank you all for watching. And I'm going to say happy conlanging.